Hi, this is Teacher Gail. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. Today we're going to talk about why bad things happen to good people. In 1 Samuel chapter 23, we read about the situation where David hears about the city called Keilah. It was a fenced-in city, and it was being attacked by the Philistines. So David goes to God and he prays and he asks God if he should go down and save Keilah out of the hands of the Philistines. And God affirms them and tells them yes, he could go down and save the people of Keilah. So David and his men, though the men were afraid because Saul at that time was king and he was trying to kill David. He knew that David was going to replace him, so he was looking for David to kill him. And David's men knew that if Saul had gotten word of the fact that they were fighting in Keilah, that Saul would come down and attack them. So they went anyway, and they fought against the Philistines at Keilah. And God gave them such a great victory that day. But then word got to Saul that David was in Keilah. So what Saul thought was an opportunity for him to attack David. It was kind of crazy to me because now here David has just saved one of your cities from the enemy. But you see this as an opportunity to attack him? See, that's where we go through a lot as Christians. A lot of times we try to help people, but then you have haters. And when you help people, haters see this as an opportunity to attack you. So David goes to God again, and he asks God, he says, will Saul come to Keilah? And God said, yes, he will come. And then David asked, will the men of Keilah turn me over to Saul? And God told him the truth. He said, yes, they will turn you over. So then God informed David what Saul's plans were. So David and his men gathered themselves, and they got out of Keilah because, mind you, it was a walled city. They got out in time to get away and avoid fighting with Saul. But see, sometimes your haters, they don't really have a reason to hate you, except for the spirit in them hates the spirit in you. See, Saul had a demonic spirit in him, and that demonic spirit was very familiar with that godly spirit in David, and so he wanted to destroy David. So a lot of times, have you ever wondered how you could go to a strange place and meet a stranger, a total stranger you've never seen a day in your life, and that person just don't like you? But if you're a child of God, you experience that frequently. I remember, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. In Birmingham, I had so many experiences where people were attacking me at every turn, and I could not understand why. And then I moved to Texas, and those same spirits would use different people, but yet they would continue to attack me. I didn't think that it was a spiritual fight. All I knew is I had haters everywhere I went, but I couldn't understand why, because there was nothing I thought special about me. But it wasn't that I was special. It was that spirit of God within me is special. And the enemy spirit sees that spirit of God in you. And the attack is not against you personally. It's against that spirit in you. So when they attack you, they're attacking the spirit of God. But they never win the battle. So I don't understand why they do it. But it's a situation where you're very annoyed. You're rejected. You feel left out. You just feel as if the world is against you sometimes. But it's only a select few that the enemy uses to attack you. A prime example of how the enemy operates, if you go to the book of Job, Satan went to God and told God that he was going to make Job curse him to his face. And when he failed to do so, he attacked Job's body. And Job became sick. And he had all these boils all over him. And it didn't work. Satan thought that would make Job curse God. But it didn't work. So then Satan used Job's wife. He used her to go to Job. And she went to Job and she told Job to just curse God and die. See, God knew the strength of Job. But he also knew Satan's tactics. And so Job just told his wife not to be foolish. In other words, get on out of my face with that foolishness. That's what you got to do with the enemy. Let them get out of your face with that foolishness. When they come up against you, you go to God and say, okay, Lord, they're being foolish. You handle that. That battle is not mine. It's yours. They are not attacking me. They are attacking your spirit within me. And I thank you for handling that. Move that person. You can ask for specific. Get them away from me, or move me away from them. And God would do just that. But he would do what's best for you. Now, mind you, sometimes he will allow you to experience those people, because that will strengthen you, spiritually. You spend a lot more times on your knees when you're stressed than you do when you're blessed. So those are times we are driven to our knees. So don't use those as a time to blame God, because God is not the source of evil. Satan is. And so when you come under attack and you are a child of God, then that's the enemy doing his job. That's what he does. But it's your job to give it over to God. Let go and let God. So David did something that he thought was good. But the people he helped turned around. They were going to turn around and betray him. They were going to repay his good for evil. You see, when the enemy comes up against you one way, God will open up a door so you can get away and lift up a standard against him. If you go to him, go to God. You don't have to suffer in silence. Go to God and pray about that thing, and he will work it out for you each and every time. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for subscribing, and click that notification bell. And remember, the next time the enemy comes up against you, rejects you, mistreats you, tries to ostracize you, smile in his face. That's the best revenge. And then you go home and you talk to God. Thank you. From God Heals the Hurt Ministries, I love you, and see you in the next video. Bye.